November 8, 2013.
This is probably one of the top 12, so in the top dozen of all storms ever seen on this planet.
As Super Typhoon Haiyan slams into eastern Philippines, Tacloban Mayor Alfred Romualdez and a few staff members are stranded at this beachfront location.
A song that I was singing throughout the time was, "You are my world, you are my God, and I lay down my life for you."
Suddenly, a storm surge hits the building, as seen in this video obtained exclusively by CBN News.
And I was asking God, just give me a few minutes, even an hour, just to get down here to make sure my family is okay. Then if it's time for me to go, then that's it.
Romualdez and the others punch a hole in the ceiling to escape rising water. And just in time, as another tidal wave hits. Meanwhile, across town at his beach house, Romualdez's wife and 2 children are also on the verge of being swept away by tsunami-like waves. The entire time, she's reciting the whole of Psalm 91.
I will dwell in the shelter of the Most High God. I will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, you are my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust.
The couple says it's a miracle they survived.
When you're faced with death, as I was several times during that day, you completely forget everything. I never went back to my house to check my belongings till after like 5 days. But what was in me were lives of people. I got my family. I was going out there and saving lives.
As soon as the storm passed, the mayor hit the streets clearing debris and coordinating search and rescue operations. Over 6,000 people died that day. Romualdez says he knew he had to give people hope to help them pull through.
Because people have come to me and they were questioning their faith and they were asking me, why did God take away my children? What did they do wrong? And then I said, do you want to see God? Yes, then you'd have to die. You'd have to overcome death. And Christianity is not focused on death. It's focused on afterlife.
A year later, he's still encouraging residents of his city to draw close to God.
And the purpose and what I tell people is that, when it comes to God, I ask questions, but I don't question. I ask questions and I ask, Lord, why did this happen?
Have you had an answer yet?
Yes.
And what does he say?
And the answer clearly is that, it's not a miracle that you survive, because at the end of the day, you're going to die. What's a miracle here and the blessing here and the grace of God is that where you're going to go after that.
1, 2, 3.
The mayor's wife, a former actress turned politician, organized several evangelistic outreaches in Tacloban, including this worship event which took place on the storm's 1-year anniversary.
Anything could happen any minute. You could lose your life any second, any day. So people need to realize, and I think people have realized that there's no other way you can go but relying on God and walking with God every day.
It's a spiritual sentiment that runs deep in this city, as I discovered while riding Tacloban's most popular means of public transportation.
It's good to have a mayor who trusts God and encourages us to trust him as well. He almost lost his life. He knows the pain we're enduring a year after the storm. We need God's help to rebuild our destroyed city.
The mayor has taken a lot of heat in the last year for his government's slow response to the rebuilding efforts. How much is the Philippine Star? 25, 5, 10, 20, 25. Thank you, sir. But in reality, you talk to many Taclobans, and they will blame the national government in Manila.
It's not the mayor's fault. The national government is wrongly accusing him of inaction when the blame should be on them for not doing enough to help us rebuild.
Romualdez says thanks to international aid agencies like CBN Disaster Relief, Tacloban is slowly getting back on its feet. In the last 12 months, CBN Disaster Relief teams have built temporary homes for over 1,500 families, restored 9 schools, and helped thousands of typhoon victims with livelihood projects.
I was very glad, when I saw the guys come in, because I know they work fast. And they were one of the first ones who built temporary, or what we call transitional shelters. And they were fast.
Mayor Romualdez is a very busy man these days, trying to rebuild and restore hope to his city.
I just pray for the mayor and his family, Father.
He clings to his faith and is trusting God to fulfill his divine purposes for Tacloban.
Being more like Christ is really living dangerously. We are not told that there is a disaster so we will hide. No. We are told that there are disasters to come, there are challenges to come for us to face it, and God will be with us, and you're going to come out of it. Having a strong faith is the key. You can't do it alone.
George Thomas, CBN News, Tacloban, Philippines.